If your supply chain planning processes have been working well for you all these years, you might wonder why you need to change them just because you're moving to a digital platform. You're not alone in thinking that way. About 67% of businesses do not prioritize reviewing supply chain planning processes when they invest in or plan for growing product demands. By using these same disjointed processes, you are still contributing to data silos. You are likely to end up struggling with similar issues. More importantly, your old processes worked during a time when businesses operated under fewer constraints. Customers and shareholders today demand that businesses operate ethically, focus on consumer welfare, and minimize their impact on the environment. Technology offers you a chance to change the way you plan, automate, predict more accurately, and manage regulations easily. In this section, we will look at how you can improve your processes by changing how you plan and use concurrent planning methodologies. We will then see how you can choose processes for automation that will help to predict changes in processes or bottlenecks so you can act faster. Finally, we will look at how technology can help you manage regulatory requirements across geographical locations. Mark has been planning inventory for 5 years. He waits for the operations planner to provide him with a plan, and then sets about generating an inventory plan to make sure he has all the necessary materials. He discovers material shortages because of changes made to the operations plan inside the lead time fence, and inventory he thought he had was used in another job and not recorded. He updates his plan and goes back to the operations planner to discuss. They argue over whose data is right and who is responsible for the misalignment. By now, days have gone by, and Mark has to rush order material to satisfy the plan. This happens every planning cycle. What if the silos could be broken down, and planning processes happened in parallel rather than sequentially? Imagine all of this happening in a single system, where everyone has immediate visibility. That's exactly what concurrent planning does. Concurrent planning helps you get information directly from the source as soon as it's updated. Everyone can see the current status and make arrangements as soon as they see any change in requirements. Wouldn't it be even better to automate notifications so changes in plans can trigger action? Automation has many benefits, but it's easy to go down the automation path and not realize the benefits or achieve return on investment. There's a common tendency to begin automating based on the amount of time it takes to complete a process. And while it might reduce the time in operations, will it bring the best return on your investments? Experts suggest that the best place to begin is with your value chain. Any process that directly affects or interacts with customers will directly affect customer experience. To view your processes from the customer's point of view, sometimes it is best to work backwards. For example, what is the final product? What are the resources that you require to get the final product ready? Keep going all the way back, and you'll have highlighted your value chain. Choose the processes that take the longest time in this value chain. That will ensure that you begin automation with the highest return on investment. Continue to choose processes that directly affect the value chain until you reach the point of diminishing returns. New technology completely changes what automation used to be. It can work with you to predict changes in operations. Let's say that you are working with suppliers A, B, and C. A is known for timely deliveries and great quality, but is quite expensive. B is farther away from your location, so deliveries can be delayed due to external circumstances, but it's also known for great quality. C is a local supplier and can produce the goods on time, but the quality is hit or miss. Both B and C are considerably cheaper than A. Based on constraints like the quality of the end product and the delivery time, a predictive tool would only show the suppliers that are relevant. If you have to develop a high-end product on a tight deadline, only supplier A should be shown, while for a low-end product that can be developed on a more relaxed schedule, the system should only show suppliers B and C. In the real world, it gets complicated quickly, simply because there are so many constraints that it's impossible to perform all the required calculations in minutes. For this kind of technology to be accurate, your demand, supply, and operations information will need to be accessible on the digital platform. Keeping these records will also help you comply with government regulations. When someone talks about government regulations, they are often talking about all the different hoops that businesses have to jump through to get approval for their product. But there is another important part of regulation that can be time-consuming, and that is traceability. Let's consider pharmaceutical companies that operate in both the US and Europe. These two regions have different specifications for raw material sourcing, cleanliness of the premises, and even distribution. When asked, the companies must provide proof of compliance within 24 hours. The request can require documentation for the past 2 years. Many companies have paid heavy fines, pulled their products from shelves, or in some cases, executives have even been sent to prison for not providing the necessary proof. Moving record-keeping and transactions to digital platforms makes traceability and showing proof of compliance much easier and more reliable. Most of these shifts require time, careful planning, and investment. Concurrent planning requires that all data is stored in a single platform and is easily accessible. Automation of processes begins by careful planning and identifying the correct processes to maximize your customer satisfaction and achieve return on investment. Being able to predict the effects that input variables have on the final output is beneficial in the supply chain industry. The industry's sheer complexity and size needs automated processes for decision makers to act fast. And finally, ensuring that all regulations are met across borders is a big task without the right technology. These changes will require you to balance resources and business goals. You may have to retrain your existing workforce and influence your employees to accept change and take on different responsibilities. You may even want to expand your workforce to fill knowledge gaps. Managing people is an important aspect of moving your supply chain processes to a digital platform.